CourtTV Zone, where we take you behind the scenes of all the stories Fox 5 is working on in real time. I'm Homa Bash. Thanks so much for joining us. It's a busy day in our newsroom. We're getting to it all. It is time for your top 3 at 3. We're talking about everything from the latest on 2 national manhunts currently underway to the latest on tariffs. But right now, we're kicking it off with the big story of the day. A Montgomery County case that has haunted the region for more than a decade. Catherine Hoggle, the mother of 2 children who vanished in 2014, has now been reindicted for their murder. She'll be in court tomorrow for a bond hearing, but right now, criminal defense attorney Joseph Tully joining us with what we can expect. Joseph, good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Good to see you. So today is a bail hearing set for this case. The prosecution reindicted Ms. Hoggle after she was released, essentially, staying out her civil commitment in a mental hospital. She was reindicted on murder charges. She's up for bail today, filed by her defense attorneys. They're going to argue that she should not be in custody. She's served her time. The prosecution is going to argue, listen, jeopardy hasn't attached, double jeopardy that would prevent us from recharging, that hasn't attached, so we can keep recharging her. And those are essentially the 2 positions today.
How difficult is it in a case like this where there are no bodies, her children have never been seen again, to come up with that murder charge and convict on that murder charge?
It would be a circumstantial case, and circumstantial evidence usually favors the defense. Here, if they did indict on charges, but they used a grand jury, and grand juries are infamously noted for being able to indict anything at the request of a prosecutor. The famous expression is that a halfway competent prosecutor can get a grand jury to indict a ham sandwich. So she is indicted, but that doesn't mean they have a strong case. If they would have had more evidence, I think we would have heard it. I think they're basically doing this to keep the case alive.
Yeah, and so she's served more than 10 years in a mental institution. Now she was released and she's been reindicted. Have we seen something like this happen before? So, whatever happens to the bond hearing, could she be back in prison, waiting in jail until her trial?
She could be, yes. However, while she was released from the mental hospital, essentially after, 3 years of being found, she would have had to be found not a danger to herself or others anymore. But we could be in an infinite loop, so to speak. So in other words, she could be indicted, serve her time in the mental hospital, be released, be indicted, serve her time in the mental hospital, be released. And that's really where we're at. And to your point, this really is a case of first impression in terms of what I've seen. I haven't seen the situation before. And legally speaking, it is a case of first impression.
And if I'm her defense attorney, I'm going to say, you didn't find her competent to stand trial the first time. What makes her competent 10 years later?
Exactly, yes. And to add to that, the laws state that Maryland has to dismiss charges after 5 years if competency hasn't been restored. And that's what happened in this case. And that's the intent of the legislation. And by the prosecution reindicting, they're kind of trying to go around the law here. And the defense attorney is going to have a good fairness argument. Again, this doesn't mean that our hearts don't go out to those 2 missing children, and that's a great injustice. But we also have to have the law which doesn't keep people jailed indefinitely just because at one point they were mentally ill.
Lots more to come on this case. Criminal defense attorney Joseph Tully, thank you so much for the insight, for the breakdown.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's move on to topic number 2. 3 years after taking the reins of Fairfax